In a grand hall of the Galactic Senate, leaders from many alien races gathered. The ceiling was high, covered with shining stars, and the walls were decorated with symbols of different planets. Everyone was talking about humans. The galaxy was buzzing with rumors of a new technology that humans had created, something that could change everything. Some senators believed this technology was dangerous, while others were curious about what humans could do. Dr. Elena Carter led the human delegation. She was smart, confident, and determined to show the Senate the power of human technology. As she entered the hall, she felt the eyes of many senators on her. They whispered and pointed, unsure of what to think about these new visitors. Would they bring peace or would they be a threat? Dr. Carter stood at the front of the hall, her heart racing. She knew the importance of this moment. "Esteemed members of the Senate," she began, her voice steady and clear. "Today we are here to show you something remarkable. We have developed technology that allows us to control gravity." The room fell silent. Senators exchanged confused glances. Some shook their heads in disbelief, while others leaned forward, intrigued. "Control gravity?" one senator asked, his voice laced with skepticism. "How is that even possible?" With a smile, Dr. Carter gestured to her team. They brought forward a small device that looked like a shiny silver ball. "With this technology, we can make objects float and change their weight. Let me show you." She pressed a button, and the ball began to hover in the air. It moved smoothly, dancing in front of the senators. Gasps filled the hall. Senators could hardly believe their eyes. "This is magic!" one alien exclaimed, his eyes wide with wonder. "How can humans do this?" Dr. Carter continued, "This is not magic. It's science. We have worked hard to understand the forces of gravity and how to control them." She picked up the ball and handed it to a nearby senator. "Feel it," she urged. The senator held the ball, surprised to find it felt light as a feather, even though it looked solid. More demonstrations followed. Dr. Carter showcased various objects, making them float, spin, and even change direction. Each trick amazed the audience further. A heavy metal chair rose off the ground effortlessly. A senator from a distant planet, known for its fierce warriors, could hardly contain his astonishment. "How can we trust you with such power?" he shouted. "This could be used for war." Dr. Carter anticipated these concerns. "We understand your fears, but our intention is to use this technology for good. Imagine how gravity control can help your people. We can transport goods easily, build safer structures, and even assist during natural disasters." The room buzzed with discussion. Some senators nodded in agreement, while others remained skeptical. What if humans decide to turn this technology into a weapon? A senator from a cold planet questioned, her voice sharp. Dr. Carter replied, "We want to work together. Let's form a partnership. We can all benefit from this technology if we trust each other." Her words hung in the air, a challenge and an invitation. The debate continued. Some senators were inspired, while others were not ready to accept humans. Dr. Carter felt the weight of their skepticism. She knew that winning their trust would not be easy. Finally, the head of the Senate, a wise old alien with deep wrinkles and piercing eyes, raised his hand for silence. "This technology is indeed remarkable," he said slowly, "but we must consider the consequences. We cannot allow power to fall into the wrong hands." As the discussion continued, Dr. Carter's mind raced. She knew they had to prove that humans could be trusted. The fate of their technology and their place in the galaxy depended on it. The challenge had only just begun, and she was ready to fight for humanity's future. The senators began to whisper among themselves again, and Dr. Carter felt a mix of hope and fear. What would happen next? Would they accept her offer, or would they reject humanity's greatest achievement? The stage was set for a thrilling showdown between hope and doubt, and Dr. Carter was determined to ensure that humanity would rise to the occasion. The excitement in the Galactic Senate Hall had not faded after Dr. Elena Carter's amazing demonstration of gravity control. However, with every passing moment, doubts and fears crept into the minds of many senators. While some were filled with wonder at humanity's achievements, others were deeply worried about the potential consequences of such powerful technology. As the debates continued, a tall alien with sharp features and dark skin stood up. His name was Senator Varrock, known for his cautious approach to new technologies. "We have seen what humans can do," he said, his voice steady but filled with tension. "But what happens if this technology is used for war? The galaxy has faced enough conflict already." The murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Many senators exchanged worried glances, recalling past battles that had torn their worlds apart. The memories of destruction still haunted them, and they feared that humans might bring more chaos. Senator Melina, a representative from a peaceful planet known for its artists, raised her hand to speak. "We must not ignore the good that this technology can bring," she urged. "Dr. Carter has shown us how it can help our people. We should focus on cooperation instead of fear." But Senator Varrock shook his head. "What if humans change their minds? What if they decide to use this technology against us? They could control our ships, our homes, everything. We cannot allow that to happen." Dr. Carter watched the debate unfold with a mix of frustration and concern. She understood the fears of the senators, but she also knew that fear could lead to terrible decisions. She stood up, ready to defend humanity's intentions. "We want peace. Our goal is not to harm anyone. We are willing to share our technology for the benefit of all," she pleaded. However, her words did little to calm the rising tension. Another senator, a short, green-skinned alien named Senator Grom, stood up. "You say you want to share, but how can we trust you? How do we know you will not keep the most powerful parts of this technology to yourselves?" His voice was sharp, and the other senators nodded in agreement. Dr. Carter felt a knot in her stomach. "We can demonstrate our technology more. We can show you how it can work for everyone. We can even create a joint task force to oversee its use," she suggested. But even as she spoke, she could see doubt in the eyes of many senators. Senator Varrock stood up again. "A joint task force? What if you gain more power than we do? You could manipulate the task force to your advantage. We cannot risk our safety for your promises." The room filled with whispers, and Dr. Carter realized that they were growing more suspicious by the minute. The once excited atmosphere had turned heavy with doubt. She knew they had to act quickly to win their trust. But how? As the debate dragged on, the senators started to take sides. Some supported Dr. Carter and her vision of cooperation, while others aligned with Senator Varrock's fears. Tensions escalated when a senator from a powerful military race stood up, his voice booming. "We cannot allow any species to have such power over gravity. We must take precautions to protect ourselves." Dr. Carter's heart raced. If the Senate decided to reject humanity's technology, it would be a massive setback. She needed to find a way to prove that humans could be responsible. Suddenly, she had an idea. "What if we conduct a series of tests with representatives from your planets involved? You can oversee everything. You will see for yourselves that we only wish to use this technology for good." Some senators appeared intrigued, while others remained unconvinced. Senator Varrock, however, crossed his arms and frowned. "Even with tests, there are no guarantees. We cannot trust you completely. You could deceive us." Dr. Carter took a deep breath. "I understand your fears, but we can't let doubt rule our decisions. Together, we can create a better future." Her words echoed in the hall, a plea for understanding. Despite her efforts, many senators were still afraid. The discussion continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. The dream of cooperation was clouded by doubt, and Dr. Carter felt a heavy weight on her shoulders. The path forward was uncertain, and she realized that the battle for trust had only just begun. As the meeting came to an end, Dr. Carter looked around at the skeptical faces. She knew that winning over the Galactic Senate would not be easy, but she was determined to prove that humanity was not a threat. They had come too far to turn back now, and she was ready to fight for a future where humans and aliens could work together. The tension in the Galactic Senate continued to grow after the heated debates about humanity's gravity-controlled technology. Dr. Elena Carter felt the weight of uncertainty on her shoulders as she prepared for the biggest challenge yet. To convince the Senate of humanity's good intentions, she needed to organize a major demonstration, a showcase that would prove how useful and safe this technology could be. Dr. Carter gathered her team in a small room after the Senate meeting. "We have to put together a spectacular event," she said, her eyes sparkling with determination. "We need to show the senators that our technology can help everyone. We must plan carefully and think of every detail." One of her team members, a young engineer named Sam, nodded eagerly. "We could use floating platforms to demonstrate how gravity control can help with transportation. Imagine how easily we could move supplies and people." Another team member, an expert in physics named Dr. Lin, chimed in. "Let's create some fun and exciting experiments to grab their attention. If we can make it memorable, they won't forget it." With everyone on board, the team worked tirelessly for days, preparing for the grand demonstration. They created stunning floating displays, showcasing how gravity control could be used for peaceful purposes. Dr. Carter knew this was their chance to shine, but she also felt the pressure mounting. Finally, the day of the demonstration arrived. The Senate Hall was filled with senators, journalists, and curious aliens from different planets. The atmosphere was buzzing with anticipation and skepticism. Would this demonstration win the trust of the Galactic Senate, or would it backfire? Dr. Carter stood at the center of the hall, her heart racing. Welcome, everyone. Today, we will show you the incredible possibilities of gravity-controlled technology. She took a deep breath and pressed a button on her device. A large platform slowly rose into the air, floating effortlessly above the ground. The senators gasped in amazement. First, we will show how this technology can transport goods safely and quickly, she explained. A group of humans brought forward several boxes filled with supplies. With a wave of her hand, the boxes began to float above the platform, moving smoothly from one end to the other. The crowd watched in awe as the boxes danced in midair. As the demonstration continued, Dr. Carter introduced various experiments that highlighted the potential of gravity control. She made objects of different sizes and weights float effortlessly, creating a mesmerizing display. The audience clapped and cheered, their doubts slowly starting to fade. But just as everything seemed to be going well, a loud crash echoed through the hall. A group of aliens, who had been silently observing, suddenly charged forward, disrupting the demonstration. They were armed and shouted about stopping the humans from sharing their dangerous technology. The senators gasped in shock. Dr. Carter quickly assessed the situation, her mind racing. "We need to protect the technology and ourselves," she yelled. With a quick decision, she activated the gravity control device, creating a shield around her team. The rebel aliens tried to attack, but Dr. Carter and her team used their gravity control to lift debris and throw it back at the attackers. The crowd watched in disbelief as the humans defended themselves using the very technology they had been showcasing. Amidst the chaos, Dr. Carter noticed Senator Varrock, who had been skeptical from the start, standing frozen in shock. "We must work together," she shouted, hoping to reach him. "This is what I meant. We can protect each other." With the rebels being pushed back, the senators began to rally behind Dr. Carter's team. They realized that humans were not only showcasing their technology, but also proving its potential for defense. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn in favor of cooperation. As the dust settled, the rebel aliens were forced to retreat. The Senate Hall erupted in applause for Dr. Carter and her team. They had faced danger head-on and stood their ground. The demonstration had turned from a simple showcase into a testament to humanity's strength and resilience. After the chaos, Dr. Carter looked around at the senators. Some were smiling, their doubts fading away. Others still wore looks of concern, but she sensed a shift in their attitudes. She had faced the ultimate challenge and emerged victorious, showing that humanity was not a threat, but a valuable ally. With newfound hope, Dr. Carter stepped forward to address the Senate once again. "Today we have proven that together we can face any challenge. Let us use this technology not only to advance our civilizations, but also to unite our worlds in peace." The room erupted in applause, and for the first time, Dr. Carter felt a sense of victory. She had shown the Galactic Senate the true power of humanity and their technology, paving the way for a brighter future. The day of the big demonstration had finally arrived, and Dr. Elena Carter was both excited and nervous. She knew this event would be crucial for proving humanity's gravity-controlled technology to the Galactic Senate. The stakes were high, and the senators were watching closely, waiting to see if humans could be trusted with such power. Dr. Carter stood in front of a large crowd, her heart racing. The Senate Hall was filled with various alien species, their eyes fixed on her. Senators from all corners of the galaxy had gathered, their expressions a mix of curiosity and skepticism. She took a deep breath and began her presentation. "Welcome, esteemed senators. Today we will demonstrate the incredible possibilities of gravity-controlled technology," she announced. The crowd buzzed with anticipation. Dr. Carter had spent weeks preparing for this moment, and she was determined to make it unforgettable. With a press of a button, a large platform floated gracefully above the ground. The audience gasped, and whispers spread like wildfire. "Look at that! It's actually floating! one senator exclaimed. Dr. Carter smiled, knowing that she had their attention. Imagine how this technology can revolutionize transportation across the galaxy, she explained. She gestured to a group of humans who were ready with several boxes. We will show you how gravity control can help transport goods safely and efficiently. As the team began to lift the boxes, they floated into the air and moved smoothly from one side of the platform to the other. Dr. Carter watched as the senators leaned forward, their skepticism starting to fade. The sight of the boxes gliding through the air was mesmerizing. But just as the demonstration seemed to be going perfectly, an unexpected noise erupted from the back of the hall. A group of armed aliens burst in, shouting and causing chaos. Dr. Carter's heart sank. These were rebels who opposed human involvement in the Galactic Senate. They had come to disrupt the event. "Stop them!" one senator shouted, panic spreading through the crowd. The room was filled with chaos as the rebels rushed forward, brandishing weapons and threatening the demonstration. Dr. Carter knew they had to act quickly. "Everyone stay calm," she yelled. "We have to protect ourselves and our technology." She turned to her team and gave them a determined look. They quickly activated the gravity control devices to create a shield around the platform. The rebels tried to break through, but Dr. Carter and her team used their technology to lift debris and throw it back at the attackers. The senators watched in disbelief as the humans fought back. It was a true test of their abilities, and Dr. Carter felt adrenaline pumping through her veins. As the fight continued, Dr. Carter noticed Senator Varrock, who had been the most vocal critic of humanity, standing frozen in shock. "We need to work together," she shouted to him, her voice rising above the chaos. "This is what I meant when I said we can protect each other." Slowly, the senators began to rally behind Dr. Carter's team. They realized that humanity was not just demonstrating their technology, but also proving its potential for defense. The tides of the battle shifted, and the rebels found themselves overwhelmed. After a tense few minutes, the rebels retreated, and the Senate Hall erupted in applause. Dr. Carter and her team had not only showcased their technology, but had also defended themselves and won the respect of many senators. Once the commotion settled, Dr. Carter stood before the crowd once again. "Today we faced a true challenge together," she said, her voice steady. "We have shown that our gravity control technology can be used for good and for defense. Let us use this power to unite, not to divide." The senators began to murmur in agreement, and Dr. Carter felt a wave of relief wash over her. The demonstration had turned into a powerful testament to humanity's resilience and capability. As the applause echoed through the hall, Dr. Carter exchanged glances with her team. They had faced the ultimate challenge, and together they had triumphed. With newfound confidence, Dr. Carter knew that the path to cooperation and trust was now clearer. This was just the beginning. The galaxy was watching, and humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. After the successful demonstration of gravity-controlled technology, Dr. Elena Carter felt a wave of hope. However, she knew that winning the trust of the Galactic Senate was just the beginning. To truly secure a future for humanity among the stars, they needed allies. As she walked out of the Senate Hall, her mind raced with possibilities. In the days that followed, Dr. Carter and her team met with various senators to discuss potential partnerships. They were determined to show how gravity control could benefit the entire galaxy. But not everyone was eager to embrace the new technology. Many senators were still cautious, worried about the power it could hold. One day, Dr. Carter received an invitation from a surprising source, a senator from the planet Cadric. Senator Tarak was known for his strange ideas and unconventional views. He had always been seen as an outsider, and many in the Senate dismissed him. However, Dr. Carter remembered how he had been impressed by the demonstration. With curiosity and a bit of trepidation, she accepted the invitation. When she arrived at his office, she found a room filled with colorful decorations and odd inventions. Senator Tarak welcomed her warmly, his eyes bright with enthusiasm. "Dr. Carter, I'm glad you came," he exclaimed, gesturing for her to sit. "I believe your gravity-controlled technology has great potential. We can change the way our worlds interact." Dr. Carter raised an eyebrow. "But many senators are still afraid of what this technology might mean. How can we convince them?" Senator Tarak leaned in closer, his voice lowering conspiratorially. "Sometimes, the best allies come from the most unexpected places. Let's show them how gravity control can help us in our daily lives." Inspired by his words, Dr. Carter and Senator Tarek began to brainstorm ideas. They decided to organize a community event on Kadrik, where people from different planets could come together and experience gravity control firsthand. They wanted to create an event that would showcase the benefits of the technology while also uniting various cultures. The planning took weeks, but Dr. Carter was excited. As the event date approached, she felt a growing sense of camaraderie with Senator Tarek. He was passionate and creative, often suggesting unique ideas that made her laugh. She found herself enjoying their time together, and for the first time, she felt hopeful that they could truly make a difference. When the day of the event finally arrived, a crowd gathered in the main square of Kadrik. Colorful banners fluttered in the wind and stalls showcased the local culture. Dr. Carter stood at the center, surrounded by her team and Senator Tarek, ready to demonstrate their technology. Welcome, everyone! Today we will show you how gravity control can change our lives for the better, Dr. Carter announced, her voice strong and clear. The crowd listened, intrigued. As she activated the gravity control devices, objects began to float above the ground, drawing gasps of amazement from the audience. Children laughed as they reached out to touch the floating toys, and adults looked on with wonder. The atmosphere was electric, filled with excitement and curiosity. Throughout the day, various activities showcased the benefits of gravity control technology. People tried floating rides, and others participated in gravity-defying games. Dr. Carter watched as strangers from different worlds laughed and shared experiences. The event was a success, and the atmosphere was filled with joy and friendship. By the end of the day, Dr. Carter noticed a change in the crowd. Many senators who had been skeptical before now approached her with questions, eager to learn more about the technology. They saw the joy it brought to the people and realized its potential for unity. Senator Tarek beamed with pride as he spoke to Dr. Carter. "See, we have created allies in the most unlikely places. This is just the beginning." Dr. Carter felt a surge of hope. Together, they had turned doubts into excitement and fear into friendship. She realized that forming alliances was about more than just technology. It was about understanding and connecting with one another. As the sun set over Kadrik, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Dr. Carter knew they were on the right path. With newfound allies by their side, humanity was ready to take its place among the stars, not just as a species, but as part of a greater community. The excitement from the community event on Kadrik lingered in the air, bringing new energy to the Galactic Senate. Dr. Elena Carter and Senator Tarek had worked hard to build alliances, and their efforts were beginning to pay off. Senators who once doubted humanity's intentions were now eager to explore the possibilities of gravity control technology. As the weeks passed, Dr. Carter received invitations from various planetary representatives. They wanted to learn more about how gravity control could benefit their worlds. Each meeting brought new opportunities, and soon discussions about forming a coalition began to take shape. One afternoon, Dr. Carter stood in her lab, preparing for a presentation to the Galactic Senate. She had been invited to share the progress they had made since the Kadrik event. The room was filled with her team, all buzzing with anticipation. "Today is our chance to solidify our partnerships," Dr. Carter said, her voice steady. "We need to show them that this technology can unite us, not divide us." Her team nodded in agreement, their faces determined. Dr. Carter knew that this presentation was more than just about gravity control. It was about humanity's place in the galaxy. They had to make a strong impression. When Dr. Carter entered the Senate chamber, she felt the weight of the moment. Senators from various species filled the seats, their eyes watching her closely. She took a deep breath and began her presentation. "Esteemed senators, thank you for joining us today. We have seen how gravity control can bring joy and unity to our worlds. But today, we will show you its potential for the future," she announced confidently. The senators listened intently as she explained how gravity-controlled technology could revolutionize transportation, agriculture, and even healthcare. She presented case studies from Kadrik, where communities were already benefiting from the technology. As she spoke, she could see the interest growing in their faces. Dr. Carter then invited Senator Tarek to join her on stage. Senator Tarek has been an incredible partner in this journey. Together, we have formed alliances that could change the future of our galaxy. Senator Tarek stepped forward, his energy infectious. Thank you, Dr. Carter. This technology is not just for humans. It belongs to all of us. Together, we can achieve great things. The chamber erupted in applause, and Dr. Carter felt a surge of hope. This was the moment they had worked so hard for, and it was finally happening. After the presentation, the discussions continued. Senators began to voice their support for a coalition, excited about the opportunities ahead. Dr. Carter knew that building trust took time, but this was a significant step forward. As the days turned into weeks, the coalition began to take shape. Senators worked together to draft a proposal for sharing gravity-controlled technology across the galaxy. They envisioned transportation networks that could connect distant planets and systems, making travel easier and safer for everyone. One evening, while reviewing documents in her lab, Dr. Carter received a message from the Galactic Senate. They had officially approved the coalition, and the news spread like wildfire. Celebrations erupted across multiple planets as beings of all kinds rejoiced in the newfound partnership. Dr. Carter couldn't believe how far they had come. She had started this journey with doubt and fear, but now she was surrounded by allies who believed in a brighter future. The coalition represented hope for all species, a chance to unite in a common goal. As she stood on the balcony of her lab, gazing at the stars twinkling in the night sky, Dr. Carter felt a deep sense of gratitude. They had faced challenges, but together they had overcome them. The galaxy was vast, filled with possibilities, and humanity was ready to explore it. In the months that followed, the coalition flourished. Gravity-controlled technology transformed not just transportation, but also communication and cooperation among the planets. Humanity had become an integral part of the galactic community. Dr. Carter realized that the future was not just bright, it was filled with promise. Together, they had forged bonds that would last for generations, proving that even in the darkest times, hope could shine through. With newfound determination, Dr. Carter looked up at the stars. The galaxy awaited, and humanity was ready to make its mark. The journey was just beginning, and she knew that anything was possible when they worked together.